Previously on Reality Dog Training.
Not getting that ball, buddy. Holy cow.
Are you kidding me? The question is, what do you do when your dog really wants whatever it is in their environment more than they want to pay attention to you? I'm Zach George, and this is George. No relations. George has spent the last 4 months living in an animal shelter with minimal contact with other dogs or people. And it's my job to transform him from a wild and crazy dog to an incredible pet. Seems straightforward, right?
Holy cow. Not getting that ball.
George is a dog like I've never known before. I don't know if I can let this dog go.
Let go. Yes, we did it. This might be the single greatest transformation I have ever seen in a dog that I've worked with.
The hardest thing about fostering a dog, you fall in love with them.
This is Reality Dog Training. Subscribe and click the bell so you never miss an episode. I really hope you guys know that I'm very picky about the sponsors that I work with. In fact, I say no to almost every sponsorship request and only work with brands that I consider to be the best of the best in our industry. Nom Nom is actual fresh food that actually meets AAFCO nutrition standards. I've been waiting my entire career for something like this. For those of you out there that would love to feed your dog a fresh diet but don't have the time or expertise, more importantly, to prepare their meals yourself, Nom Nom is a game changer. Their nutrition experts prepare fresh meals with all of the right nutrients for your dog, and they automatically ship them right to your door. So literally all you have to do is open up a packet and give your dog an amazing, very healthy meal. Nom Nom's also made it very easy for you guys to try it out. You can get 50% off a 2-week trial at my special link, trynom.com/Zach. I'll have that link in the description. Can we talk about this whole baseball situation for a minute? I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I've seen dogs that really want to get at things or other dogs or people, and I've dealt with all those before, but a baseball that's doing nothing, that's just sitting on the ground? I mean, especially for a dog like George, you guys have seen how amazing he has been at virtually everything I've asked him to do, but for some reason, he cannot resist a baseball. I never thought that the thing that would take me down as a dog trainer would be this. George has made it quite clear that we are back to square one as far as the baseball is concerned. You know, on one hand, it's great that you could potentially use this as a currency. I mean, look at that focus that you get. As dog trainers, we really like that. But we don't want him focusing on it when we want him focusing on us instead. If he ever encounters another baseball game or tennis match, I really would like to know that I could have his attention. In fact, can I even get those eyes off of this ball and onto me? That's really what I'm doing. I mean, this is the ultimate leave it, look at me combo right here. In virtually every other area of training, I can get those eyes on me. You've seen it in every lesson that we've done so far. When he gets distracted, I work with him a little bit, we work through his confusion, and he does fine. But when I say, here, or look at me, or George, yes, here. You see, I say yes, and he's like, cool, give me that thing. I don't want your treats right now. Okay, I guess I'll take them, but I still want that thing, right? So it's back to basics with him. I mean, this is a classic example. I talk about it in my books. You have to be prepared to take a step back when it comes to your dog training on a moment's notice. And that's what I failed to do when I was setting him up out there for that training exercise. I thought I had built enough communication with him to teach him how to leave the baseball alone, but it's clear I need to take like tiny baby steps with this little weird fringe behavior. I'm gonna go in slow motion. You've heard me say, train in slow motion, meaning the slower you go, the better your results will be. Leave it. No. Here, look at me. Yes, look at me. I mean, you know, if I have to now hold the ball up to my eyes just to accidentally get him to look at me, leave it. Whether your dog is struggling to resist reacting to other dogs, people they want to go meet, or inanimate objects, the bottom line is that you have to find ways to make it easier and set your dog up for success when they're having as much trouble as George is with this. The question is, what do you do when your dog really wants whatever it is in their environment more than they want to pay attention to you? I'm gonna wait for him to look at me. As you look into George's eyes, you can see his inner turmoil is extreme. Like, he's smart enough to know that he should honor my request. However, his curiosity and his desire to play with that ball are so high
that he just can't resist it. This is part of George learning that there are some things that are okay and there are some things that will never be okay. Now, I believe that George understands that I want him to not go after that ball, but that last step of actually tearing his gaze away from the thing he loves most in this world is really hard for him. George, here, look at me. No. Here, come on, buddy. Yes, good. Yeah, he's giving me little twitches, but even as he eats those treats, he's dead focused on that. I'm not finding the treats, no sir, I'm not finding the treats to be reinforcing here. Like, I really need to think about what to do because I don't have a good enough reinforcer right now. Like, he'll take the treats, but he's like, I'll take them, but I'm happy, I'd rather just look at that ball if I have a choice of the two things. Just to give me traction, I am going to up the value of my currency. I'm now using rotisserie chicken here, just plain rotisserie chicken. And I'm gonna see if that helps me here. So I'm gonna stand up and be a little bit farther away from him as well to see if that might help as well. So holding it out here, let's see if I can get those eyes on me. Okay, George keeps twitching his eyes my way. He's so close to looking at me for real. I'm gonna hold out for a slightly more committed glance because I think he's got it in him. Yes. Finally, a glimmer of progress. Let's capitalize on that momentum. Now, some of you who are pretty savvy about teaching dogs will be asking, hey Zach, why aren't you using a toy to reward him when he's staying off the baseball? After all, he's clearly in that real play drive frame of mind. Use that to your power by getting him on another toy. The reason I'm not doing that in this particular case is because I want to keep his energy lower a little bit. He's such a high energy dog that by using food and really teaching him to work for that in this particular instance, I'm not raising the temperature, I'm not increasing the drive during an impulse control training exercise. Now, later in the future, I might do that, but since he's struggling so much, I'm trying to keep his mood under threshold. I don't want to get him so excited that he's like, oh my gosh, we're playing with a tug toy and now I'm gonna get the ball, because I feel like he would just really get amped up to the point where it would probably hinder my training session. George. Yes, that was a much longer glance than before. It was like a whole second, I think. Look at me. I want a longer glance than he's giving me. Yes. Good. Leave it. George, look at me. Nope. No, sir. Leave it. No, sir. Okay, perhaps I'm a bit intense here, but the purpose of communicating no sir is to let him know that access to the thing he wants is absolutely off the table right now. At this point, honestly, I am about to have a meltdown. It feels like I just cannot get through to him. So I've got to be smarter than this. All right, so what I'm doing right now, not good enough. It's just not working. So I'm gonna brainstorm here. So in my experimentation here, what I'm trying to do is to take a slightly lower value toy, but you know what? I don't even think that's good. He's too into this. This is a toy he's never seen before, and he really gets excited over new toys. Let me get to something he has seen before. So this is a toy he has seen before. He loves this toy, obviously, and there's a time when you want your dog's drive and focus on a toy like this. So that, in fact, I've used this toy like that with him before, but I'm hoping it's a slightly lower value to him than the baseball, and that I'll be able to get his eyes on me a little bit easier so that maybe I can get traction from there. So if I do that exercise with a variety of different things, maybe he'll start to understand, yes. I'm just rewarding the eye contact there. Stay, leave it. Look at me. No, still not good enough. Let me try another toy. This is just a chew toy that he's been gnawing on. Leave it. So you can see I'm just trying to experiment with different things I know George finds valuable until I can find the one that he really likes, but is not quite as crazy for. That way it will be a little easier for him so we can get some more successes in before we try the things that are more challenging for George to resist. All right, good. Leave it. Look at me. Whoa, okay, now we're getting somewhere. Let's make it a little harder. Now we all know that George loves his Frisbee, but I think I've been doing so much impulse control training with him between teaching multiples and teaching the double that I feel like he'll leave this alone and give me his attention in exchange for a treat, or just because I ask at this point, because we've done it bunch of training. Come here, here, sit, stay, leave it, look at me. A little redundant, my communication, but that's okay. Here, yes, good. I'm gonna put some motion to the Frisbee next to see how he does. Things with motion are more distracting. Stay, leave it. Look at me. Come, sit. Yeah, good man. All day long for the Frisbee, I'm able to call him away from it, get eye contact. He'll do all of his skills in the presence of a Frisbee. And if you're worried about this killing his drive for the Frisbee, dogs are capable of learning that sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not okay. If I threw a Frisbee into the street, for example, he would have to know to leave it alone. Leave it, look at me. And see, for a Frisbee, he'll do that all day long, but could you imagine him doing that for that darn baseball?
We're finally getting somewhere, but I'm still not positive George is ready. So before I break out the baseball again, let me see if he can at least resist this toy that he likes slightly less than the baseball.
Look at me. Yes. No, leave it. Pretty good emergency stay there. I mean, I had to throw kind of firm tone at him, but it was successful, so I at least like that. I didn't have to touch him to get him to stop, so that's always exciting. Stay. Leave it. Look at me.
I'm doing my best to communicate with George using words and concepts we've taught him instead of physically controlling him for this training exercise. The most profound training happens when your dog starts to originate their own self-control.
Here, come. No, leave it. Come. Sit. Stay. Yes, stay. I mean, you can see him reaching so deep with every fiber of his being to try to resist this. I mean, it's not natural for him. I think we're breaking through to him. Sit. Leave it. Look at me. Come. Sit. Stay. Still facing the object. I want that attention on me, but he's breaking through. Here. Stay. Yes. Stay. Okay, good boy. All right, progress. I mean, just a moment ago, this was too much for him, and he didn't have the impulse control to leave this alone.
Teaching a dog to have impulse control like this requires you to have a pretty strong foundation of communication with your dog already. I just want to make sure that you guys know that I have a totally free digital dog training course that will help you and your dog brush up on all of your training basics in just 30 days. Whether you and your dog are brand new to training or you feel like you just need a refresher, 30-Day Perfect Pup will help take your communication with your dog to the next level fast. I'll have a link in the description of this video. Okay, I really feel like George is getting the idea. I've given him practice with things that are easier for him to resist. I guess all we can do now is find out if my training actually worked.
Leave it. George, come. No, come. Come on, come. Let's go. George, leave it. And this, he's leaving it, but I can't get his full attention. No, stay. George, come, come on. No, come. Sit, come. Here, sit, stay, yes, stay. So there's a good instance of using the word no to get him to resist something that I don't want him to go after. However, I don't want to rely on that as my main strategy. Sure, it's effective here, but I don't want to have to rely on screaming no every time he goes for something. I'd rather him understand this concept a little more deeply, so I'm going to work on that. We're starting to see a little bit of progress here. I mean, look at that. He's staying, he's looking at it. I'm keeping him from picking it up. I'm even able to get him to come to me at least partially in the presence of this ultimate distraction. In my mind, I'm treating this as though it's a life-threatening situation if he gets at this baseball, because it's just a symbol, it's a metaphor. I mean, there are times when we just cannot let our dogs do what they want to do. What if this baseball was rolling in front of a moving car, right? And George, like all dogs, is no dummy here. He knows that he can get to that ball before me, so he's using incredible restraint for him. But I think we just need to really spell this out for him until he gets the picture here. Stay, leave it. Doing really good when I drop it. Looked up at me. Yes. Stay. I'm gonna try to lure him away right now. I'll take anything I can get. This way, come on. Good, look at that. He would not have done that moments ago. The food was just not powerful enough. Stay. Okay, leave it. Stay. Yes. leave it. Look at me. Here. Come. Good boy, yes. Leave it. Ah! Leave it. No, I mean, you see how it's like, my body's making me do it, but I know my mind, in my mind, I'm not supposed to do it. So he's got this like inner conflict going on. Stay. Leave it. Notice the distance here. I'm still focused on him. I'm gonna go ahead and lure him away with chicken and see if that works. Stay. George, come on. Good boy. Yeah. Sit. Here, yes, got some good eye contact there. Yes. Here, look at me. Yes. Look at that, look at this, look at me.
Wow, it's working, guys. I'm so impressed with this considering how he was acting at the beginning of this training session.
Stay. Good. Okay, I'm gonna put this away. Good boy. So I've gotta say, to me, I'm very satisfied with those results for that particular training session. It's not coming easy at all, and I still have to put that chicken in front of him to lure him to me, to really get him to pay attention to me, which is far from ideal. But considering I couldn't do that until now, I'm encouraged because it's better, because it's progress. You might be able to tell that George is a little extra wound up. We've had some rain, we haven't been able to exercise him quite as much as we'd like outside. But another great way that you can satisfy your dog mentally, even physically, is to do some general training with them. George is doing so well with his basics, like sit and lie down and stay and come and leave it. And that type of training only goes so far with such an intelligent dog like George. So I'm hoping to challenge him a little bit more today. So I'm gonna review a couple of his tricks that he already knows just to make sure we're maintaining those well. And then I wanna teach him a brand new trick, maybe two. We'll see how he does. Sit, lie down. I wanna test roll over. It's been a minute since we've done that. Here, go on. Roll over. I mean, that's looking really good. There was no treat in my hand there. So we touched on crawl. I haven't done much practice with that. Well, let's see how he does. Come here. Good, yes. So you can see crawl still has a ways to go, but he's doing okay there. He's really following the lure well. One variation of crawl. His flagship trick so far has been sit pretty. Stay. Okay, that's all right. You can see how that muscle memory we talked about when we first introduced the trick has really come a long way. Stay. Good looking sit pretty right there. Okay, good man. I'm hoping to teach George how to spin around in a circle. He's such an athletic man that I think he can probably pick this up pretty good. So I'm gonna go slow. Yes, good. All I'm doing is luring him with the treat here. There's not much to teaching spin with a dog like George. Here, good man. Yes. Yes. Every time that butt goes down, you see how I'm pulling the treat away to let him know that doesn't work? Yes, but when he makes a complete revolution like that, yes, I will go ahead and give him a reward. He's an athletic guy. Yes, and there, now we have two spins with a less obvious lure. I still have food in my hand, but notice how the distance between my hand and his nose is farther. Yes, good boy. And he's trying to combine his tricks here. He's throwing in his shake. He's thinking about roll over, and I'm just gonna ignore those right now. It's common when you're training a dog for them to get confused and to start offering every trick they know at the same time. So you really want to use your judgment there and withhold rewards for tricks that you're not asking for. I notice a lot of people tend to get discouraged by that. They think their dog is going backwards on their training, when actually this is just a normal part of training any new dog. So it's probably a sign you're on the right track. Just work through it by being really disciplined on when you reward your dog. So not bad at all for a first spin lesson. Let's try the other way. How does he do that way? Yes, that was a really good one. And this, like many of the other tricks we've gone over, does require muscle memory and practice so that he'll get really proficient at it. Nice. Good man. Teaching a dog how to jump over a jump like this is a really useful activity for a dog like George because it encourages him to exercise and it encourages him to use that brain. And of course, anytime we teach something like this, we're deepening communication with our dogs at an intricate level that will easily translate into everything in their life. Stay. Okay, come. And just like that. Now, we did set him up for success here by having the jump extra low. I think a common rookie mistake is to have that jump a little bit too high. Yes! So I want to reward him for doing that. If you have it too high, they will most likely try to go under it. So that's why we want to gradually increase the height. Yes! Love that he's showing initiative there. Here, sit, stay. Let's go ahead and increase it just a little bit here. Let's see what we can get away with. Stay. Look at me. Okay. Yes. Boy, he is such a natural jumper. Look at that. Let's go just a little higher here. Kind of find the height he's comfortable at. We don't want him routinely knocking over the bar here. That would be impressive for a first lesson if he could do this. Okay, come on. Yes, good man. I'm gonna go ahead and reward him, but you see how he knocked the jump down. So we need to get him a little more proficient before we attempt a higher jump than that. But I know George has hops. It really comes down to that muscle memory on this kind of jumping. Look at me. Okay, come. Yes, good man. This is higher. Come on, this way. And I love how he's going around the jumps. I want to keep it that way. Once they discover they can go under, that can set you back a little bit. I mean, you can work through it, but sit, stay. Look at me. Okay, come on. Over, yeah, good boy, really good. That's his highest jump yet, so that's great. Real good, and he's doing that with ease right now. But every inch we go higher at this point becomes dramatically more difficult. But I'm really just trying to get a baseline. I'll remind you we have very, very padded floors under this carpet, so I'm not too concerned about a hard impact. Stay. Okay, come on. Oh. So now I just want to do some troubleshooting here and keep them from going underneath by having it dramatically lower. And it's so tempting when you're doing a task like this with a dog like George, who's so athletic, who can physically jump very high. It's so tempting to really try to get that bar up quickly. But in my experience, once they start going under or once they start refusing to go over the bar, then that's your cue to immediately take a step back, go to the last known place of success and really get that super tight and super reliable before moving on. And that's an overall important lesson for dog training in general. Stay. Okay, come. Yes, good. See if we can get a couple more of those. Yes, good. Doing great, come on, let's go, let's go. Here, sit. Stay. Okay, come. Yes, good. Very good. I'm thrilled, George. That is wonderful. So I'm proud of him. I mean, that's a new skill. That's something that will benefit him in many ways, I am sure. I think a lot of people might look at this and be like, well, why would I ever need to teach that? The point isn't really that you want to teach your dog this skill as much as it is your dog is learning how to behave in different ways. And if you want to be able to talk to your dog and communicate with them at a really deep level, teaching activities like this is a great way to do that. A perk to following us on Instagram, because by the time you see the series, hopefully George will have been adopted already. So if you want to apply for one of these dogs that we're training in the future, follow us on Instagram for sure so that you get first notice.
Who wouldn't want a dog like George, right?
Whoever gets George is getting a special boy, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. I know, the pressure's on now. How are we gonna actually pick the right person? That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that's true. I'm really new to this whole foster dog situation, so I think we can all learn a lot from the experiences that we've been having here. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm so excited about it. I think we have the possibility to do a lot of good for not only teaching people how to teach their dogs, but raising awareness for homeless dogs, for pit bull type dogs, and showing how great they can be. So it's really great to watch this series kind of evolve and each story be told, because he's so different than Moira in so many ways, you know, and It's a different experience altogether.
But whatever kind of dog you have, they're almost certainly going to love Nom Nom. Go to trynom.com/Zach. You can get half off a 2-week trial. I think your dog will love it. Sign up for 30-Day Perfect Pup. It's totally free, by the way. Subscribe to this channel and check out both of my books on Amazon. We'll see you in the next episode, unless you follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And we'll see you over there. See you next time.